What's going on, guys? It's your channel, TFD, coming back with another video. And it looks like the WNBA Commissioner might be jealous of Caitlin Clark too. Let's get into it. Let's go. I watched the WNBA, as you guys know, and as we talked about at the top of the show. Last night, I watched the fourth quarter of the Chicago Sky's first win over the Dallas Wings. It was Angel Reese versus Paige Bueckers, two players the WNBA would love to hype up into big stars. There are people out there saying Paige Bueckers is going to be the best player in the league, and Angel Reese is this, and Angel Reese is that, as I told you earlier in the show. But the game actually turned into a showcase for Kamilla Cardoso, who scored a career-high 23 points. The Chicago Sky picked up their first victory of the season. Then I saw a video of people making fun of Angel Reese. She went 2 of 6 from the field, scored 6 points, grabbed 9 rebounds, and dished out 5 assists. Still, people were clowning her for a few bricks and getting her shot blocked. Let's play that video of her going to the hoop and getting stuffed.
Playing in her 6th game of her WNBA career, Smith blocks Angel and will send it back.
I saw a couple of different feeds pointing this out. One said, "Here she is with a crossover," and another talked about her using a Hesse move, and then boom, she gets blocked again. But here's the thing, having watched that fourth quarter, Angel Reese actually showed real progress in self-awareness. She only took 6 shots, and I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not saying, thank God she figured out not to shoot. I'm saying this is great. She's figured out she's not a dominant offensive player. She's more of a role player, a rebounder, a distributor, a screen setter. They figured out a way to feed the ball to Cardoso, their 6 feet 7 inches center, who actually has some offensive skills. That's real progress. And I want people to understand where this progress comes from. I'm giving Angel Reese credit, but I also want to give her critics credit. This is why I keep saying criticism is key to development. When you try to protect people from criticism, you actually stunt their growth. You arrest their development. At least for one night, Angel Reese said, "You know what? I'm not some elite offensive scorer. Let me stop forcing shots and focus on doing the things that help us win." Why is she doing that? Because her critics got through. She's seen all the social media heat, people belittling her offense. She can't deny it anymore. She had to deal with the truth. If I keep forcing bad shots, they'll keep getting blocked. I'll keep bricking. And I'll give people even more ammo to clown me. But Angel Reese is being smart. She's adjusting. She's saying, we started 0-4. We looked uncompetitive. People are ripping me and my team. Let me show some self-awareness. Let me change. Let me play to my actual skill set. That's growth. And that's why we must allow athletes, black, white, whatever, to be criticized. If you protect them from all criticism, or label it all as racism, then they ignore the critics and never grow. That's exactly what some people like Ryan Clark are doing, trying to shield Angel Reese from all criticism. But in doing that, you're hurting her. You're hurting her development. Criticism, even when it's harsh, is a form of love. When people stop criticizing you, what they're really saying is, I don't believe you can grow anymore. Even when my critics are wrong, I try to see where they're coming from, because maybe, just maybe, they saw something I missed. So Angel Reese, I'm telling you, I'm rooting for you. And I hope you hear the critics, like RG3 and others, who are saying, this irrational hate for Caitlin Clark, it's not helping you. Maybe it's making you money in the short term, but it's also painting you in a negative light and keeping you in the crosshairs of even more criticism. That rivalry with Caitlin Clark, it doesn't serve you. It serves content creators. It serves race hustlers. It serves people pretending to be your BFFs. Hey, Ryan Clark, he gets to make content off of you and the feud with Caitlin Clark. But what do you get out of it? Angel, you can have a long, successful WNBA career as a rebounder, a defender, a playmaker. With your grit, you'll score your points. You've already built a brand people are watching. But ending the feud with Caitlin Clark would be the best move for you. If you pivoted and said, I want to compete with Caitlin Clark, but I also respect her and support her, that would elevate you, the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, and everyone involved. Now, I'm not calling Caitlin Clark an angel, because she's not. But her instincts, the way she's wired, she wants to help people, including Angel Reese, more than she wants to fight them. It would be a massive win if Angel Reese raised the white flag on this fake feud and embraced Caitlin Clark. That would be true progress. Like what you saw. Hit that like button and subscribe. Dave Rubin of The Rubin Report shares a DM clip of WNBA's Brittney Griner and Angel Reese doing more damage to the WNBA brand and women's basketball for their continued mistreatment of Caitlin Clark.
Ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job.
The women have a league. As far as I understand, it's mostly women without penises, but I leave that to you to figure it. Well, it's actually a little unclear because this Brittney Griner, a lot of people think she's a dude. But in any event, Brittney Griner is a black basketball player who some people think is a man. I don't know. I guess she's a woman. Let's just say she's a woman. Here's a chick, a black chick. And then, of course, there's Caitlin Clark. And everyone knows Caitlin Clark. She is and Brittney Griner is a fine player, I suppose. We'll get to that in a minute. But Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever to elevate WNBA to the point that guys might start talking about it and going, boy, she really is something else, her level of skill. What has happened to her in the last 2 years since graduating college is that she has been abused repeatedly. We have shown you videos just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it. Here is Brittney Griner elbowing Caitlin Clark in a crazy way and then calling her a trash white girl.
Fouled out, had 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
All right, so she wants to be seen. She knows the cameras are on her. Trash white girl. She wants to be seen saying that. Now imagine if Caitlin Clark had said trash freaking black girl. Like, what would be happening right now? Also, the way she sets the pick, some people are cheap and whatever. You don't set a pick and just throw an elbow up like that. That is not what you do. But okay, fine. Caitlin might have acted there a little bit, but she's just getting abused. Now, you might know the name Brittney Griner because Brittney Griner was the one that went to Russia with some weed and got stuck in jail. And then the Obama administration traded this guy. Putin's merchant of death is back in the arms business, this time selling to the Houthis. Do you realize how insane this is? Russian gun runner Victor Bout was traded in 2022 for U.S. basketball star Brittney Griner. Do you realize how leave that picture up. So that man right there, we had him. He was a gun runner who was sending stuff to the Houthis who have been bombing our shipping routes, and now we've been bombing them and they've been lobbing rockets into Israel. We traded him back for Brittney Griner to get Brittney Griner, who did... you cannot bring weed into Russia. You just can't. That's just how it is. But we traded her. We got her back for the guy who's bringing the weapons to the Houthis who we're now bombing. Like, this must be a simulation. It's so ridiculous you can't make it up. Anyway, then check this out. So there's this other girl in the WNBA. Her name's Angel Reese. And if Caitlin Clark is the Michael Jordan of this thing, she's up there. I don't know what you want to consider. I don't want to compare her to an NBA player because she's kind of an unpleasant person, and she does strike me as racist and dirty. So she's just up there. She happens to be black. Again, I don't care, but she seems like a dirty player. So here, check this out. This is an image that she reposted. And the implication is, what it says at the top is white, this is how they say girl, G-Y, white gal, G-Y-A-L, running from the fade, like as if Caitlin Clark is basically a no pun intended, and doesn't want to get involved because she's getting smashed all the time. And Angel reposted that. Fade means to get knocked out. The story, again, it's just the reason that these things are important, you might not care about them, is just because this little thing where we should just pit each other against each other because of race, and we elevate some people because of this race and denigrate some people because of this race, it's just not good over time. And if for no other reason, if you are a female basketball fan, a female sports fan, you want to elevate your best, right? You don't want to take the person. The NBA was something in the 70s, right? And then there was the ABA first and then the NBA. And then suddenly there was this rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. And there was an ethnic component to it in that Magic was flashy and he was black in Los Angeles and Larry Bird was from Indiana, played in Boston. It was thought of as more white and blue collar. But it was always about who was the better basketball player. And there were plenty of black people who loved Larry Bird and there were plenty of white people who loved Magic, right? But the league then grew in the early 80s because of that. And then what was born out of that? Michael Jordan. And he took it to the stratosphere. So the point is, if you care about basketball, you care about the sport, you should want the best people to be out there, and you shouldn't be like, I want to take out that one because she is of that skin color. Anyway, here's Fox's Kevin Corke saying that nobody is going to watch the WNBA if they don't get rid of this racist nonsense.
They've taken it too far. A couple things. First of all, if you're old enough to remember the old Magic Johnson, Larry Bird rivalry, this could be great for the sport to sort of have two good teams, two great players. But I think Reese really has enmity toward this person, and I don't understand why. I think Caitlin Clark has been great for the sport. And if they keep this up, Joey, here's what's going to happen. Players like Reese don't understand. You are killing the game for non-fans. So I'm talking about people just, basketball. Caitlin Clark, I recognize her. Angel Reese, I recognize her. But if you keep taking shots, nobody's going to want to watch that product, and that's the real danger.
Right. Nobody's going to want to watch the product because, what do I always say? Wokeism destroys everything. It's like the alien in the Alien movies. It infects the host, and then it bursts out of their stomach, and goo goes everywhere, and it kills everybody on the ship.